Welcome to We Build Academy. So I'm going to talk about how do you find an architect. Firstly, I just want to make sure that you're completely aware of what an architect is. So an architect is a registered name. So they've had to go through years of training, experience, university, then worked in an architecture firm, then get accredited, and then that's only when they can actually call themselves an architect. And there are other people in the construction industry providing architectural services. So the architectural technicians, there are other people who haven't got that same experience. And then there's also surveyors as well that will provide architectural services, which are also chartered surveyors, but they're not architects. So as long as you're aware of what you're buying, I know a couple of self-builders I know thought they were getting an architect, but they were actually getting an architectural technician or some other sort of particular person who hasn't got the same credentials as an architect, but that's normally reflected in their fees. So that's you've got to take consideration. So in my mind is I would prefer, unless I'm doing a very complicated building in terms of an existing building, which a surveyor would probably be better than an architect. I'm not, depending on the situation, I don't want to say that, but generally the one thing I would normally look for is, if I was doing a self-build, would be to employ a registered architect. So how do you go and find one? Well, firstly, there's a couple of registers. There's the RIBA registers, Royal Institute of British Architects, have a Find an Architect section, and also just Google Architecture Register. There's also a register on there as well, because the RIBA one doesn't have all the architects, whereas the other one does have it, because that's where they have to register their membership for being an architect. So once you've found where to find them, how do you actually go about employing an architect? There are a number of things I'd like to sort of suggest. Costs, they're almost pretty much all cost the same, within reason. You just need to make sure, the number one thing you need to make sure is that you get on with them. They are going to be your key backbone of your sort of self-build process. A good architect will help you through the whole process, hold your hand effectively all the way through. Obviously that comes at a cost, but that's the reason that's where they make their money, and why they're worth so much is to help you through the whole process, because they've gone through it many times and this is probably your first time. So it's always good to find one that you get on with as well. And also, you know, just need to make sure you give your architect a proper brief. So to get a proper brief is understand how many bedrooms you want, how many receptions you want, roughly have you look how it looks like, and then give them like a scrapbook of sort of houses you like or plans you like, and also more importantly, it's sometimes better to give them a list of things you don't like, because more often than not, people know what they don't like more than they do like. So you just want to make sure that when you're doing this brief, is to make sure that, and also give them a budget. So go to at least, or try and go to 3 architects, meet with them, have a chat. Don't necessarily have to go through everything, find details or everything else, but at least find 3, see which one you get on the most. They don't have to be local, but it will help if they're near the site, particularly when they go onto site to do site services, because architects do need to visit site quite often, potentially, or they can appoint a local architect to do the site services at a later date. So if you're living in London and working in London, it might be best to get a London architect for your house in Devon, say, because you'll be meeting them a lot in London, and that's not very uncommon to do. So just have a think about what's the most convenient for you to get them. So once you've got your gone to go see your architect, then pick the one that you get on with the most, and obviously you can negotiate with fees, etc., etc. But the good architects are worth their money, and that's the reason why people pay them that money. So that's how you find an architect. I hope you found that useful. If you have, please check out our website, which is webuildacademy.com. On there you will find a lot more resources and other information, and we also issue a podcast every Tuesday, which is on YouTube and on iTunes and other sort of streaming devices. I've interviewed a number of architects, other specialists, as well as people who have gone through the self-build process, and we would love to also document some more small self-builds once we grow our community. So if you haven't yet ordered your self-build starter pack from our website, please visit webuildacademy.com. This actual video forms part of that, and the whole idea is to try and help you start your sort of self-build journey. So I'm just going to finish off, and I hope to be helping you guys in the future with your self-build. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in contact. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. Cheers, thanks.
webuildacademy.com for more great tools and information to help you build your dream home.